Say yes to this. From deep within you, say yes. There is great clarity in the rainbow. You may walk through the world and watch how others are thinking. They will make it abundantly clear when they are arguing to assert that their category is better than other categories. There is an easy difference between asserting the beauty of your way and asserting the superiority of your way. You may trust that when someone is articulating how they are better than another, that person is in the process of struggling with that way. In their struggle, they may hurt many, and most certainly do not deserve to be leaders. This is a way I invite you to recognize that those who fight to assert preferences are not leading into the world that we share. They are the elected representative of many others who struggle with similar forces, nothing more. They stand for a certain opinion within such a struggle, nothing more. When you recognize them for what they are, if you are also struggling with these forces, there may be some value in asserting your preferences in relation to theirs. Yet, remain grounded and aware of what you are doing. In the world that is to be, it is an easy invitation to say all are welcome, who welcome all. This is, again, easy to recognize once you are committed to it. If it is not easy for you to see, then you are not fully committed to this wholeness. The universe will not reveal itself to you until you do make this commitment. The Christ-aligned consciousness unites all colors in absolute equal presence. There is no preference in the rainbow. You may maintain preference, but you may not stack the rules against any one way. It is simple, and you can learn to see it. From here, it is your job to serve. For the world as it is full of fights over preference. These fights are toxic to the world that we are birthing together, and thus you do good work by refuting them based on these grounds alone. You step into the middle of situations that involve such bias, and you assert the rainbow. You do so with grace and with exactly as much presence as is necessary to articulate the truth. From here, you allow the reflection of any hostility or attempt to control your way. There is a natural reflection available that allows you to maintain your center, and thus you will be a part of reflecting hostility back at itself. To the extent that you maintain hostility and bias within yourself, you will not be able to do this effectively. Thus, if you find yourself embroiled in a confrontation or an entanglement where you are struggling to assert dominance, you may register immediately that you continue to carry bias. And this bias is ultimately rooted in drama that is designed to avoid trauma. When you understand this, you gain the depth of presence within yourself to dissolve these darknesses. For this is what is created by bias for one color, or one way, or one category. Darkness. Such consciousness obscures the rainbow. Because these ways are attempting to assert an artificial superiority of one way or another, they are not capable of being present in the light. Full light disregards their existence. Thus, they are creating an alternative reality out of harmony with universal light. There are many ways to do this, and none of them are acceptable now. This is not to say that you may not maintain preference. Indeed, you may continue to identify heavily with one color and its relationship to the others. These are keys. You do not need to understand them to use them to unlock the consciousness that you know as your own. It is your job to weed out the excess baggage, the shell, the husk of life that prevents you from honoring other ways. In time, you may learn to recognize the beauty and gift that other ways of being, other colors, other hues, and other keys offer to the light of the world you share. You do not need to understand this in order to honor them. You create space simply by holding the rainbow. That someone embodies red energy does not mean you must honor them as the rainbow. You invite them to bring their red into a shared space, and they will prevent themselves from entering if they maintain hatred or resentment, dominance or blame directed at another frequency. To them, this may not be associated consciously with color, and yet it is. The patterns that they hold and the blame they maintain are designed to externalize their own pain in drama. Drama is the externalization of energies, karmas, that are individuals' responsibility to bear. Collectively, the same pattern emerges. Collective karma will externalize responsibility for energy that a community creates and attempt to assert this external version of reality upon another community. This may always be decoded in the form of preference asserted with dominance. Their preference is acceptable. Their attempt to assert dominance is not. It is akin to writing a play and forcing someone to play a role in the play that you write. You can learn to see this happening. As you do, you may learn to presence yourself as the rainbow, right in the way of these patterns. Others will naturally react against you. In most cases, they will seek to get away from you as quickly as they can. Unconsciously, they will recognize that you represent an end to what they are. As long as they identify with their biased dominance, they will experience terror at the threat of the rainbow. Indeed, you must prepare yourself for this. In most cases, this terror will result in them avoiding you. In most cases, they will not even be able to recognize why they are afraid, and perhaps even that it is you that has terrified them. They will subconsciously push away from you. In so doing, they think they are pushing you down, and yet their effort will push them away, and they will get lost in other stories, in other ways. In some cases, you will be seen for the threat you represent. You must be prepared for this. You must know what this is. Others will be terrified that you represent the end to their way of being. In order to play this role well, you must know further into these depths. No. Refuse to feel guilty when you are centered in the awareness that you maintain the invitation for them to sit at the rainbow table. If you do not maintain this invitation, the entire dynamic will not work. You will sink to match their resentments. And even when you are prepared to transcend this pattern, you will not be able to until you are investing in the rainbow table. Your invitation must be stronger than your rejection, because ultimately the rejection itself is not something you create. When you effectively center in the rainbow of light, the crystalline consciousness, you do not create fights. You do not prepare for them in a manner that fuels them. You do prepare. You prepare by generating the love that invites others together and by maintaining yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually in deep health. This health will keep you centered, and in this centering, you will recognize what is and is not your own as you come into contact with others. By maintaining your center and refusing to play a role in the plays they write for you, any hostility or attempt to assert dominance over you will flip back on itself. You may learn to recognize this happening only when you experience compassion for the failure of your invitation to join the table of light. It is in feeling compassion for those who think of themselves as your enemy that you will know yourself in the crystalline. From this place, it is sadness to experience victory that results in another leaving embroiled in their own hatreds. It is failure to watch another leaving the table of light, needing to do more work before they are prepared to stay. For the true victory is to generate an invitation that is so pure from a heart within yourself that is so well, that you may challenge others to hold the heart of their color, to hold the fruit of their tradition, to hold the key of their hue, and allow all false trappings and baggage and drama to fall away. They will know this as an extremely vulnerable position to embody. They will feel this along with the feelings they have long repressed. the sadness and loneliness that they have known from their distance from others, the unfelt pain that they have repressed in their attempt to dominate others. The brutal way of being they have embodied is always rooted in unhealed wounds. Those wounds will be exposed by your invitation to the table of light, and you must be prepared to experience the chaos of an individual struggling to trust your invitation, while at the same time experiencing the terror that you will take advantage of them as they drop their guard, relieve their baggage, and shed their shell. As they let go, trust the divine. Pray deep into your roots. Breathe the colors of the rainbow, and ask what you may do to serve this healing presence. For the true victory is inviting another to a table of light and watching them accept, releasing their revenge and their hatreds and their blames, to join us in the rainbow.